What's happening, y'all? Got a little something for y'all this evening. To be honest, they're at it again. Your news media is not telling y'all the truth. Much better, much better. I'm ready for y'all now. I do apologize for that. Look, I've been paying attention to the news, and you guys have been hearing that Congress, especially the Republican Congress, is pushing for a probe into the origins of COVID-19, saying that it came out of China, and China is responsible for it. Well, I got some more information for you that lets me and you know that may not totally be true. Y'all ready for this? Are y'all really ready for this? Check this out. Now, I want y'all to pay attention to what you're looking at here. Notice it says the New York Times. Okay. You see that the title here reads, Deadly Germ Research is shut down at Army lab over safety concerns. Problem with disposal of dangerous materials led the government to suspend research at a military leading biodefense center. Come on, y'all. It's the New York Times. Written by Denise Grady. Look at the date. August 5th, 2019. Help y'all out a little bit. I want y'all to be able to see this real clear. Do one more. Denise Grady, August 5th, 2019. Safety concerns at a prominent military germ lab have led the government to shut down the research involving dangerous microbes like the Ebola virus. Research is currently on hold. The United States Army Medical Research Institution of Infectious Disease in Fort Detrick, Maryland, said in a statement on Friday the shutdown is likely to last months. Marie van der Linden, a spokesperson, said in an interview. The statement said that the Center of Disease Control and Prevention decided to issue a cease and desist order last month, that would be in July, to halt the research at Fort Detrick because the center did not have sufficient systems in place to decontaminate wastewater from its highest security lab. Oh, I ain't finished with y'all yet. All right. Look here. Let's go straight to Fort Detrick. Fort Detrick Lab shut down after failed safety inspection. All research halted indefinitely. USAMRIID was not the same one we were just seeing in the New York Times article. Go back and just check that United States Army Medical Research Institute of Infectious Disease. There you are, USAMRIID, Fort Detrick Lab. Now check this out. Check this out, y'all. Y'all stay with me. This is by Heather, what's her name here? Make sure I can see it. Magrilio, August 2nd, 2019. Updated August 3rd, 2019. Okay. Now, this report is coming from the FrederickNewsPost.com. Frederick, Maryland is where Fort Detrick is. The USAMRIID, that's where it's located, Fort Detrick. Now check this out, y'all stay with me. Now this is locally. All research at Fort Detrick Laboratory that handles high-level disease-causing materials such as Ebola. Hold on, let me make sure we get that up there so I want everybody to see this. I want to make sure y'all seeing this nice and clear. Let's go back. Let me prove my source. Okay. Come up here, you see Fort Detrick Newspost.com. You see that? Here's the writer, Heather Mangrilio. Here's her email address, August 2nd, 2019. Updated August 3rd, 2019. Here we go, y'all. See, y'all think I'm playing. Look here. This is locally. Same thing. All research at Fort Detrick Laboratory that handles high-level disease-causing materials such as Ebola is on hold indefinitely after the Center of Disease Control and Prevention found the organization failed to keep biosafety standards. The CDC, I'm jumping down. The CDC inspected the Military Research Institute in June, and the inspectors found several areas of concern, and standard operating procedures were in place to protect workers in biosafety level 3 and 4 laboratories. Again, there's that name. Kareem van der Linden confirmed in an email on Friday. Now look here, y'all. Y'all stay with me. Let me show you this. Look at where this is coming from. ABC News, Channel 7. Look at this. Army Germ Lab, shut down by CDC in 2019, had several serious protocol violations that year. Are y'all seeing this? Y'all stay with me. Make sure I got this shit big enough for you. I want y'all to see this, because these mothers is lying to y'all. They've been lying for y'all for a while. I was waiting for this to come up. I'm going to say right now, before I get too deep into it, thank you, Brother Les, for bringing this to my attention. He put me on the search of this. Appreciate you tipping me off on that. But take a good look at this. Fort Detrick, Maryland, in 2019, an Army laboratory at Fort Detrick that studies deadly infectious material like Ebola, smallpox, was shut down for a period of time after CDC inspection, with many projects being temporarily halted. Y'all remember that last part of that article I showed you, that This was level 3 and 4 level infectious disease. Quit playing with me. The lab itself reported that the shutdown order was due to an ongoing infrastructure issues with wastewater decontamination, and the CDC declined to provide the reasons for the shutdown due to national security reasons. But take a deeper look at this. Here we go. Earlier that year, the U.S. Army Medical Research Institute had announced an experiment at Fort Detrick Laboratory that would involve infectious aureus key monkeys with active Ebola virus to test a cure they were developing. Several of the laboratory's violations, the CDC noted in 2019, concerned non-human primates infected with a select agent, the identity of which is unknown. It was redacted in all received documents because the disclosing the identity and location of the agent would endanger public health or safety, the agency said. Oh, really? Or is it just they didn't want y'all to know? Keep in mind, this is a bio research lab, Fort Detrick. These people ain't gonna tell you the truth. Select agents are defined by the CDC as biological agents and toxins that have been determined to have the potential to pose a severe threat to public health and safety, to animal, plant health, or to animal or plant products. Check this out. Here are some of the violations the CDC observed during the inspections of Fort Detrick that year. Y'all stay with me. Look at the first observation. Severity level serious. The CDC reported that an individual partially entered a room multiple times without the required respiratory protection while other people in that room were performing procedures with a non-human primate. There you go. Observation number 2. Severity level serious. The CDC reported that the lab did not ensure that employees' training was properly verified when it came to toxins and select agents. These failures were recognized through video review of the laboratorians working in BSL-3 ABS. Observation number 3, severity level moderate. I'm not going to run through all these. I think you're getting the gist of this. Make sure I get you that observation. It says moderate. It was observed the CDC went into more detail on the incident on a worker not wearing gloves while disposing of biohazardous waste. This one is serious. The observation, the CDC notes that United States Army Research Institute Infectious Disease has systematically failed to ensure the implementation of biosafety and containment procedures and consonant with the risks associated with working with the select agents and toxins. Y'all see it right there, don't you see it? Observation number 5, level moderate. CDC, let me see. They redacted for security reasons. The area that was redacted, they failed to safeguard against unauthorized access to select against. They wrote that personal protective equipment worn while decontaminating something contaminated by a special agent had been stored in an open biohazard bag in an area of the facility that the CDC has redacted for security reason. They're saying that's a moderate violation. CDC reports that someone at the lab did not maintain an accurate or current inventory for a toxin, moderate. And then observation number 7, which is low, CDC reports that a building in Fort Detrick Laboratory didn't have a sealed surface to facilitate the cleaning and decontamination. This includes cracks around the conduit box, cracks in the ceiling, and a crack in the seam above a biological safety cabinet. They say these are low risk observation. As you saw, the majority of those are risk, but I ain't through. We said that happened in June. The CDC did the inspection. I believe in July they took the action, because here we are with April. This is January 22nd, 2020. So this is a year later after they released all the information. But here, two more things I want to show you guys. 2019 Military World Games kick off in Central China's Wuhan. Hell yeah. Y'all getting the gist of this? Y'all see that? Look at the date. Wuhan, China, October 17th, 2019. I think it ran until October 21st. The military games were open on the evening of October 18th. It's one of the most important international sporting events China has hosted. So, check that out. Nearly 10,000 military personnel from over 1,000 countries will gather in central China's Wuhan to highlight the military glory and world peace, according to the executive committee of that's bullshit, so I'm not going to go through all that. But anyway, you can see that the military games were held in Wuhan, China. Again, that was from October 17th, I believe, through October 21st, 2019. You see this here was reported in the PR New Wired Sison, October 17th, 2019. We've got one more to show you. Well, where did all them folks stay while they were there in Wuhan? They had to stay somewhere, didn't they? Yeah, Carlos, they did. They had to stay somewhere. Let's see where they stayed at. The Athletes Village of the 2019 Wuhan Military World Games officially opened here Friday, followed by a flag-raising ceremony by the Chinese delegation in the newly built compound, the first ever in 24-year history of the game. Did you hear that? A newly built compound, first ever in the 24-year history of the game. He said the village will provide 1,958 suites for roughly 10,000 athletes, coaches, and officials from more than 100 countries during the game, which will run from the 18th to the 27th of October in central China's Wuhan City. Are you starting to piece something together that you ain't heard in mainstream media? Really? Are you starting to just scratch your head a little bit and say, maybe, just maybe there's something here? Let me run through this again. Showing you the sources. New York Times reports this. New York Times, right there, y'all. They reported. Look at the date, April 5th, 2019. Let me get you back on. I'm just running off at the lip. Look at the date, April 5th, 2019. Times report. that they shut down, the CDC shut down the lab at Fort Detrick. Then we go to Fort Detrick itself, the Detrick News Post. There it is, August 2nd, 2019, revised on August 3rd, 2019, Fort Detrick lab shut down. Then we go and we see ABC News, and we see Army Germ Lab shut down by CDC in 2019, had several serious protocol violations that year. Now, keep in mind, that's a year later after the CDC released what they found, January 22nd, 2020. They found a total of 7 violations. Of those 7 violations, I believe 1, 2, 3. 3 of those violations were serious, 3 of those violations were moderate, and 1 of the violations was low, according to the CDC. Now, how did that happen, or did that happen? Could it be a conspiracy that the old COVID-19, the old coronavirus might have made that trip with the U.S. military to Wuhan? Could that be a possibility? Since in 2019, the military World Games kicked off in central China's Wuhan. And not only did it kick off, but they built a brand new facility. Brand new, first ever in 24-year history of the games, they said. 1,958 suites to roughly house 10,000 athletes. Are you reaching, Carlos? And you reaching? No? Well, I got one more for you. Yeah, I do. Let's blow this one up too. We gonna blow it up nice and big for y'all, so y'all can. Look here. Look at the date. 17 May 2020. It's written by Michael Houston. Michael Houston is with Inside the Games online magazine, and as you can see, they cover a lot of major sports, okay? You'll see some of the other things within those different categories, the popular things they cover right there. Okay, so you see that this is something that is legitimate. This ain't something that was just made up and thrown online a couple of days ago. So let's go ahead and see what we see here. Here we go. More athletes claim they contracted COVID-19 at the Military World Games in Wuhan. Okay. More athletes have revealed that they felt ill during the Military World Games in October when the Chinese city of Wuhan hosted the events months before the COVID-19 outbreak. Taking place in October, the allegations came 2 months before the first identification of COVID-19 by China. Close to 10,000 competitors competed at the Games from over 100 countries during the 9-day event. Speaking to the Mail on Sunday, German volleyball player Jacqueline Brock alleged that she got COVID-19 despite no cases being reported until December. She said after a few days, some of the athletes from my team got ill. I got sick in the last 2 days. I have never felt so sick. Either it was a very bad cold or COVID-19. I think it was COVID-19. And there's a picture of the young lady. And then it comes after the French pentathlete, Elodie, whatever her last name, claims she had her partner, Valentine, contracted the virus at the Games. Italy fencer, Mettello, Also said everyone in the apartment in the city felt ill with symptoms that looked like those of COVID-19. Luxembourg triathlete Oliver said he felt ill with a flu and is now undergoing an antibody test this week to see if he has COVID-19. He claims that the Wuhan was a ghost town when he left. When he went for a cycle in the city, while also saying that he had his temperature recorded on arrival at the airport, while athletes were told to wash their hands when entering the canteen. He claims all of that happened in Wuhan and that it was pretty much a ghost town while he was cycling through the town. Now, I gave you 5 articles that was looking at. Why did I do that? People, you got to know this ain't the first time that the U.S. government has lied to the people. If those of you who are familiar with the AIDS epidemic of the 80s, it was rumored that the AIDS epidemic was a man-made thing. Most not you. Must be you. Give me y'all. Something I'm looking for that I'm not seeing. But anyway, I'll continue to look for that. Meanwhile, I want y'all to check this out. By Haki R. Matabuti. I don't know if y'all remember this brother, but he was doing a lot of writing, very much known for Third World Press. This is the book that he published on Third World. I believe Third World is still out there, but this is one of his books. Give me a moment here because I had some material set up and for whatever reason it's not there anymore. So I have to go about things a different way. Stay with me, y'all. I'm still with you. I'm gonna have this ready for you here in just a moment. Sorry about that. Let's go back. And again, this is from Black Men, Obsolete, Single, and Dangerous, the African American Family in Transition. If you go to this book, one of the pieces that he put in there was concerning. Do keep in mind that the book itself was written, I believe in the 90s, if I remember correctly, on the exact date. The book was published, first edition in 1990. 1990 is about 8 or so years after AIDS was introduced to our world through the mainstream media. So this was just shortly after AIDS came on board, and he wrote this book, and he put this information in. Go to the book. I'm just going to highlight some things to you that he's pointing that is very important, and he wants y'all to understand. I'm trying to get this scene to be big enough where you can see it, but not so big enough that it's so big it's off screen. Okay. As you can see, he gets right into it and said if there was one subject I was sure that I would not write about, it was AIDS. Like most misinformed, confirmed heterosexuals, I was convinced that AIDS was a white middle-class homosexual disease that at worst would only touch black homosexuals. I also felt that the AIDS report coming out of Africa were exaggerated and that white people were doing what they normally do with things that gotten out of hand. Blame the victim. As the saying goes, ignorance is bliss. Well, in this case, ignorant kills, and AIDS, unlike anything else that has invaded the black world or any world, has the potential of devastating the African population, unlike any weapon we know since the African Holocaust, the enslavement of African people by Europeans. Now, this is where it gets interesting. My enlightenment occurred because of 5 unrelated incidents about 2 years ago. Okay, let me say that again. My enlightenment occurred because of 5 unrelated incidents. About 2 years ago, Dr. France Wells sent me some of her research, including a book, A Survey of Chemical and Biological Warfare by Cookson and Nottingham, published in 1969. AIDS didn't break out until the 80s. This text details the type of biological and chemical research and warfare being carried on in the Western world. Their work center on chemical agents for riot control and the rise of biological agents as weapons that could be dispatched unexpectedly on the enemy. In many ways, the book is frightening expose on the early genetic biological research of madmen parading as scientists. All of this research is being supported by the United States, Canada, Britain, and West Germany. There's a general theme between these countries. I want y'all to understand that. United States, Canada, Britain, and West Germany. The crucial thing is that the authors documented the early experimentation with viruses that could attack the immune systems of people. The second and most jarring incident occurred at a national conference where a dear friend admitted during a presentation that her brother had just recently died of AIDS. This friend, a very strong person, product of the Black liberation struggle of the 60s, and one who does not weaken easily. I could only share her pain from a polite distance, but it was something I could not forget. Stay with me. Here's the third one. 1988, I received by mail from the publishers a copy of Michael Myers' Was Jonestown a CIA Medical Experiment? This 575-page book is the first serious text to look at the Jonestown murders as murder, implying that they were CIA ordered. Mr. Meyer, without doubt or hesitation, theorizes that the 900 people killed, most of whom were black, were unknowingly involved in a CIA-sponsored human behavior experiment. This document suggests that Jim Jones was involved with the CIA and that the medical laboratories at Jonestown were much too large to be consistent with the professed religion's purpose of that group, the professed religious purpose of that group. Jim Jones has been connected to the CIA. In fact, there's another gentleman, I wish I can call his name right now. They even made a movie about him that was also a real good friend of Jim Jones. In fact, they went to school or something or grew up together. Both these guys grew up together, and that one of them went on to become one of the best known torturists in the world, and especially made his bones leading up to, I believe, the Iran, the first Gulf War. Is where I believe he actually made his bones. But I wanted to throw that out there to let you know that that Jim Jones has definitely been connected to the CIA. That's documented. He has been connected to it, and without doubt, another young lady that was on air during that time also reported that there was a lot of strange things once people got boots on the ground after the Jim Jones, after the Jonestown massacre, and the strange events that were going on. I will tell you, you should follow up on that and to make sure that you understand what really happened in Jonestown. In fact, if you would like, I can get some information together for you on that. Moving on with this. The fourth thing here is the text message of death was closer to home. Max Robinson, a friend and brother in the struggle, the first African-American news anchor on nationwide network television, became very ill and was isolated in the hospital outside of Chicago. Upon seeing him, I was inwardly crushed by his loss of weight and his emaciated look. It was difficult to keep the tears back. However, Max did not tell me that he had AIDS, and he was in good spirits according to him. He was improved quickly and would be able to go home soon. I let it go at that, and 2 months later, without me seeing the guy, Max was dead. Then here's the last thing. The final alert came in the Federal Express. A friend from the West Coast sent me a videotape of the work being done by Dr. Theodore A. Stecker. With a tape, he sent piles of other written documentation that convinced me that AIDS is not the next mega killer, but is now ravishing the black world from Zaire to Haiti, from Zambia to Chicago, from the Uganda to Brazil, and from Hawaii to New York and San Francisco. Here are some of the major misconceptions about AIDS. Documented by Dr. Stecker. AIDS is a man-made disease. AIDS is not a homosexual disease. He's saying major misconception. AIDS is not a venereal disease. AIDS can be carried by mosquitoes. Condoms will not prevent AIDS. This goes against the findings of other research. There are at least 6 different AIDS viruses loose in the world. Keep in mind, this book was published in 1990. There are at least 6 different AIDS viruses. There will never be a vaccine cure. The AIDS virus was introduced into Africa by the World Health Organization, and the AIDS virus can live outside the body. Here's the stuff. Steckler has unearthed evidence that the AIDS virus was created in a laboratory at Fort Detrick, Maryland, from the smallpox and hepatitis B vaccine. It is now certain that the World Health Organization introduced a vaccine that contaminated East and Central Africa with AIDS virus. Dr. William Campbell Douglas, a 4th-generation physician and a National Health Federation Doctor of the Year in 1987, agrees with Dr. Steckler's assertions that AIDS is man-made. In his book, AIDS, The End of Civilization, he states, the world was startled when the London Times reported on its first front page, May 11, 1987, that the World Health Organization, WHO, had triggered the AIDS epidemic in Africa through WHO. Now, are y'all beginning to see something here? With Fort Detrick in particular? More than 1 out of 200 condoms were found to be defective in laboratory tests at a UCLA study that has found the defective condoms either allow water or air to escape, failed strength tests, or leak the AIDS virus, the Los Angeles Times reported. Brands that allowed the virus to escape either through pinholes, tears, or pores in the rubber membrane included the Lifestyle, Conjure, Trojan, Natural Lube, Trojan Rib, and Conception. This is what all this is trying to let you know, that this stuff ain't real. It doesn't work for you. Got one more for you. Stay with me. Don't go anywhere. Let's go to this one. Now, y'all can see this. According to the London Times, May 11, 1987, in an article, smallpox vaccine triggered AIDS virus by Pierce Wright. Although no detailed figures are available, WHO's information indicated that AIDS League table of Central America matches the concentration of vaccinations. The greatest spread of HIV infection coincides with the most intense immune programmer, with the number of people immunized being as follows. Zaire, 36,878,000. Zambia, 19,600,000. Tanzania, 14,972. Uganda, 11,616,000. Malawi, 8,118,000. Rwanda, 3,382,000, and Burundi, 3,274,000. This is what they're saying they put in there. Pierce Wright also notes that Brazil has also covered the eradication campaign and that about 14,000 Haitians on the United States assignment to Central Africa were infected. Dr. Pierce also states charity and health workers were convinced that millions of new AIDS cases were about to hit Southern Africa. After a meeting of 50 experts near Geneva this month, it was revealed that up to 75 million, one-third of the population, could have the disease within the next 5 years. And we know that due to the inhumane nature of South American white supremacy system, all Africans will be contaminated. This contamination will intensify its AIDS outbreak by confining the group into comparatively small, highly populated towns where it will be almost impossible to contain its spread among African people. There have been over 5,000 deaths in Africa already, and it is conservatively believed that close to 50,000 deaths in Africa already, and conservatives believe that close to 75,000 African people could be infected. Dr. William C. Douglas, writing in the December 1987 edition of the Health Consciousness, in an article entitled "Who Murdered Africa?" states empathetically that the World Health Organization used Africa as a testing ground for the man-made deadly virus AIDS. He points out that his green monkey business was allowed to confuse the world, and that the small of the epidemic while blaming its origins on Africa. Nothing could be farther from the truth. Dr. Douglas, noting from World Health, whose volume, blase, an attempt should be made to see if the virus can in fact exert selective effects on immune function. Stay with me. The possibility should be looked into that the immune response to the virus itself may be impaired if the infected virus damages more or less selectively the cell responding to the virus. The major question being asked here: why should anyone want to do this? I think that the answer is rather simple. If one reads the release from Moscow, published in the Herald Examiner, June 6, 1987, Soviet charge U.S. has germ weapon to kill blacks. Moscow U.S. Information Agency Director Charles Wick said he broke off talks yesterday with the chief of the Soviet news agency that claimed the CIA has a biological weapon for killing blacks. Wicks told a news conference at a U.S. embassy that he received a cable from Washington on Thursday about a dispatch from Novosti News Agency that asserted that the Central Intelligence Agency had developed an ethnic weapon. Summarizing the story, Wick said in a claim that the CIA agents employed war gases in the developing country, and that the latest stride in the field is the ethnic weapon morbific bacteria, which is lethal for the African but harmless for those of European extraction. Now, one more time. The latest stride in this field is the ethnic weapon. I believe this will be MORBIFIC, but it's a bacteria which is lethal for Africans but harmless for Europeans. Kind of crazy. We get into a little bit more of this, and again, you'll see we do know that much of this biological chemical research reemerged, much of it starting during World War II in Germany after the rebellion of the 60s when white men viewed their cities going up in flames, set by black men could do nothing. Well, part of their answer was always how we can eliminate, not solve or understand, but eliminate the problem. In the United States, according to these people, black people, more specifically black men, are the problem. Dr. William C. Douglas is absolutely certain that the AIDS virus did not originate in monkeys, and he states, in fact, it doesn't occur naturally in animals. AIDS started practically simultaneously in the United States, Haiti, Brazil, and Central Africa. Was the green monkey a jet setter? Examination of the gene structure of the green monkey cells proved that by natural means, Dr. says, the research clearly shows, and I'm sorry for it being blurred out, it clearly shows that the whole theory of the green monkey is bullshit. It's pretty much what it is. And then the last thing I want to show you is Dr. They combined the deadly retrovirus, bovine leukemia virus, and the sheep Vanessa virus injected human tissue. Human retrovirus known to man and believed to be 100% fatal. Maybe the reader has doubts about this information. One question that continues to tag it is why was AIDS viewed as drug use or disease heterosexual. Great many people in the population do not care about and would not be overly concerned if they disappear were homosexual and drug users. Their logic is that since AIDS is a homosexual and drug-related disease, then because I'm not a homosexual, don't use drugs, I don't have to care about either group. I'm safe. Anyway, AIDS is probably the warp of God against their evil ways. As I said earlier, such nonsense can get one killed and should be left to the mindless idiots and racists that blame the world's ill on everybody except themselves. I continue to go on giving example after example about the intimate danger of AIDS, but I'm not sure I made my point. Tony Brown and his syndicated program raised the question and asked another one. Is it a coincidence that Fort Detrick, which is where Colonel Huxtall's biological warfare research is being done, is also the site of AIDS research? This coincidence certainly fuels the rumor, whether true or not, that AIDS virus was genetically engineered at Fort Detrick and aimed at the same group that Hitler tried to exterminate in World War II. Now, with that said, let's go over and take a look at all the references, because he listed where he was getting his from. Here, you guys grab your phone, go ahead and take a snapshot of that. If you want to do your own individual research, there's your opportunity to get the bibliography that he used in order to do his research, and the people that brought this information to him. Look at the timeline. All this was being done in the 1980s, as AIDS was very much brand new in the 1980s. I believe 81, 82 is when AIDS first came on the scene. So anything between 1981 and 1989, you were right during the height of the AIDS epidemic. So do take the opportunity to check that out. Do your homework and try to tie these things together. I took you to Fort Detrick for a reason. That's 2 times that 2 possible major germs, viruses may have been released by our government, but we're not willing to take responsibility for that. So I just wanted to let you guys know that our government is not giving you all the real information, and that your mainstream media is not giving you all the information that you should really have to understand what's happening in our world. Now, I have showed you twice how Fort Detrick is a bioweapon engineer base where they create these bioweapons to use mostly against people of color. These are things that are not being imagined. Why did the media, and the thing that you would need to ask first and foremost is why the media did not cover the New York Times newspaper story. The Washington Post also covered this story for those of you who may find it there, but New York Times and the Washington Post both covered this story. Why wasn't mainstream media? Why didn't they cover this story? I don't remember hearing it last year. And why all of a sudden the Republicans want to point everything strictly to China when, as you point one finger toward China, you got 4 more fingers pointing back at you. There could be a possibility that the coronavirus, COVID-19, as well as the AIDS virus, was both produced here in the United States out of Fort Detrick. Without a doubt, Fort Detrick was shut down in June of 2019 for a reason. Something happened there. And again, considering that Fort Detrick is a top secret facility, do you really think they're going to tell you the truth about what they were doing there when it was shut down? People, we got to look at this information, connect the dots, and use our minds and figure this out for ourselves. So hopefully this will get people pushed in the correct direction. And again, tying that back to AIDS, a lot of people don't want to believe AIDS was a man-made product. Do you know there's a patent out there for a cure for AIDS? Why did somebody put a patent for the cure of AIDS out there, but yet there's no real cure? Why did they patent the vaccine? Okay. You have to look at this entire thing, man, for what it really was worth, man. And I really hate to say it, man, but in a couple of areas, Trump might have got it right. That's scary. I mean, that's damn scary. I mean, Trump had issues with Fauci from almost day one. Number one, he didn't like him stealing his limelight. He didn't like him stealing his camera time. But more importantly, he just never listened to the man. He never believed anything Fauci said. Fauci will tell you that. Go to any interview Fauci did where he talks about Trump, and you'll see the frustration he had with Trump. I mean, I hate to say it. Remember, Trump did pull the U.S. out of the WHO, out of the World Health Organization. He also shunned the CDC. Hate to say it, but maybe he got it right. I am no means a supporter of the man because of his racist attitude and the fact that the man's a crook. But maybe they say even a broken clock is correct twice a day. I'm going to leave it right there, y'all. I'm not going to take any more of your time. I just had to put that out there because I heard the news stories going around with Congress in particularly, and the news media pushing the whole theory that this thing came out of Wuhan, China. China has pushed back almost from day one when they started releasing the information about the virus, that the contamination came from other places. In fact, China has said, well, quite frankly, it has tried everything in its power to find patient zero and was not able to find patient zero within their country. So China's convinced that they weren't the source of the virus. So while we're pointing fingers over there, keep in mind there's 4 fingers pointing back at us. And with that said, this is the KCOG, the Opinionated Grandpa. I'm going to check out. You guys have a great evening. Hopefully this information helped you out. Please spread this information. Spread this information. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good night.